Hello, it is me again, your favorite game design instructor. I think, hopefully. You ready to get back into Unity and make some things happen? Of course you are. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Well, I'm excited to keep going on this tutorial series. We're going to try to bring in some assets, add rigid body dynamics to our character, and make them do stuff with gravity, because gravity. First, let's go ahead and walk through that process again of importing an animation and creating it. So I'm going to go back into Sprites, right-click, and I'm going to import new asset. Well, it just so happens that I also have this dragon idle, and I actually want my dragon to idle before he walks. So I'll go ahead and walk through that same process here. I will go ahead and change it from single to multiple. I'm going to go into the sprite editor, apply, and I'm going to slice this sucker and have that animation done. So I hit slice, automatic slice, and wait for it and hit apply. And just like that, now I've got this idle sequence here. So this is when my character is not being moved by the keyboard. You know, I'm not giving any interaction control to it. It just sits there and kind of idles, but I want people to know he's not dead. So I'll have a totally different animation for a death. However, I don't know that it's possible to kill Trogdor, because it just seems impossible to me, you know? So I'm going to shift click and grab all these, right click, create animation. And I'm going to call it Dragon Idle. Going to drag that into the animation folder. Very important to keep all those animations in there. And then going back to the scene view, click into my character, going to animator. I don't want the dragon walk to be the first thing that he does. I want this dragon idle actually to be there. Hit delete there and dragon idle. There we go. That's what I want. Now I will drag dragon walk in here, but we're going to get to that later. So don't worry about that. Also, to move around here and navigate, I'm going to hold down Alt key and then middle mouse button or right mouse button. Okay? Or, yeah, middle mouse button. And that's how I move around here. Sorry, I should have said something about that. Okay, so now I have this dragon idle in here. And now, if you remember, I want it to loop. So I've got to double click on this and hit loop time over here. I can also change my frames per second if I need to, but I'm not going to need to for this. So, all right, so let's hit play. Actually, let's save. Very important to save. I haven't even saved yet, and that's how problems happen. So I'm going to go ahead and save this under, we'll just call it Trogdor, the Burninator. That's what he is. That's what he does. Trogdor doesn't do what Trogdor does for Trogdor. Trogdor does what Trogdor does because he is Trogdor. Yes. You've been told now. I'm going to hit play now because you're tired of hearing me talk and you want to see Trogdor animate. There he is in his idle sequence. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Now let's bring in some background assets and let's add some rigid body dynamics to our scene. I'm just zooming out with the middle mouse button. Going to go back to sprites. Now, if you remember, I also have some sprite sheets that I built in Illustrator. Okay, so let's go grab those. I'm going to click import new asset and go back out here to game design, 2D game, asset creation folder. I've got this colored castles and clouds I'm going to import. And once again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go multiple, sprite editor, apply, and slice automatic. Hopefully I'll get perfect. Yep, looks like it. You can see these little tiny lines. Might not be able to, but it looks like it did a good job. Apply. And now I can take these objects in to my scene. So I can put some clouds out there, easily rescale them. I'm holding shift while I drag those, and got clouds I can put in there. Got some cool buildings here. And I just did it with really simple shapes there in Illustrator, so nothing you guys couldn't do if you tried. I may need to build like a city street or something for him to burninate, but this is going to be his village that he burninates. Or maybe he rescues it, you know, maybe he's a hero. I don't even know. Just making it up as I go, and that's the beauty here. So, yeah, it's quite fun. Okay, so now I've got this scene going on here. And I'm going to want to add some dynamics to the characters and to the buildings possibly if I want them to be able to jump on them or not. You know, I haven't figured out everything about the game. Maybe he can only walk on clouds. Maybe he's this, you know, angelic being. I mean, he obviously is, but let's go ahead and put him here. We'll have him start there. And I'm going to have him fall into the scene and land on this cloud. How am I going to do that? With rigid body dynamics. Da-da-da. Some of you guys know what that means, and some of you are about to learn. So if I click on this object, I can add component, physics 2D, and I will go with rigid body 2D. Very important that you do not use 3D rigid body dynamics for your characters. That will not work well. And then I'm going to do the same. Actually, I don't know if I need to do that. Give me a second. Okay, yes, now I'm remembering. I just needed that 2-second break to think. So I'm going to add a component, physics 2D, but not the rigid body 2D. I'm going to actually just add a box collider. All right, and so put this little green box around here. I can edit that collider very easily, dragging points around. So this is where he can land now. And I want him to kind of peek out through the clouds, so like he lands on an invisible platform underneath the cloud. I also need to add a collider to him. So I'll add a component, physics 2D. I'm actually going to go with a, well, I'll go with a polygon collider for him. We'll try that. I may need to change that later on. I'm not quite sure what I want to use for his collider. But let's see what happens. If we did everything correctly, I should fall and land right here on this cloud. But, you know, your guess is as good as mine. Wait for it, drum roll, and I don't see anything. Apparently, I need to zoom out the camera. And I have a camera here. And I obviously need to zoom it out. See, that's the view right there I'm getting? Well, that's not going to work, is it? So I'm going to have to change the settings on this guy. Let's go ahead and move this camera. Now, there's tools up here. This hand tool lets you move around the scene. This tool lets you move an object in space. So Z position, although we're in a 2D scene, so we shouldn't have that, and then up and down and all that good stuff. I can also rotate and scale objects with these buttons right here. So I'm going to actually select the camera here, and I'm going to go to scale right here, and I'm just going to scale it up a little bit. And then I'm going to go to move and move it up a little bit. And Trogdor should fall right into our happy little scene now, if I did everything correctly. I'll hit save. I'm going to hit play. And wait for it. Other drum roll. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, Trogdor. Don't die. That was beautiful. Now he just looks like a pathetic fish. I'm just so ashamed of you, Trogdor. So things are working. I'm going to go into a little setting here on this collider on Trogdor and see if we can't fix him falling over because he has a big head. That's just so unfair in my opinion. So let's go here to... Actually, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with a polygon collider. So let's go ahead and now's a good time to see how you remove components. I'm going to right click here and remove component, and I'll add a new component. Physics 2D, and let's try doing a box collider because Trogdor is kind of a boxy dude, and I really don't want him to fall over and be a pathetic fish, cloudfish. No one wants that. I'll scale this. Okay, click on it again. Click on Edit Control Collider, and I'll scale that in a little bit. Let's see if we can't get him to just land without falling over, because that just isn't right. I'll hit save, I'll hit play, and hopefully now Troggy will just stand. Okay, look at that. Now we are finally getting somewhere. Okay guys, so your assignment is to start bringing assets into your Unity world, keeping them organized, having an animated character. Pretty soon it's going to get intense with scripting. We're going to have to link up all the animations, the various phases, because you're going to have an animation for walking, possibly for running, for jumping, all kinds of different animations you can have on your character. Or you can keep it extremely simple. Just have walk and idle, or walk and stop, and fire or jump. You know, the sky is the limit, and that's why I'm calling this Trogdor Burns the Sky. Actually, I'm not going to call it that. That was dumb. And since I'm really saying dumb things, I'm going to stop the tutorial there, and we're going to get started again next time. I'll see you there. Thanks.